Every yard, every hit, every second. It's earned out here. This game demands more than just skill. It demands fuel. The right fuel. Cause out here it's not just about how hard you work. It's about how long you keep going. When the game gets real, drink BioSteel.
In a season where Laurier shone brightest all year long, the Hawks are golden again! 116th Yates Cup champions!
Welcome in, guys, to the final recap of this year's OUA season. And we talked to this quarterback earlier on in the year, and we kind of said, like, oh, we hope to see you later in the year and at the playoffs and hopefully at the top. And sure enough, wearing his Yates Cup champion hat, Taylor Elgersma of the Laurier Golden Hawks. So glad you could join us here to kind of recap the event that was in the Kitchener-Waterloo area.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to be on, guys.
So I guess we'll start off with the big one, the crowd and the student section after playing last year on the road and then getting the chance this year in front of your home crowd with the new stadium and environment. What was that like to you guys to kind of come out and feel that energy at your backs?
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere was unbelievable. Our entire school showed up, it seemed like. Student section was going crazy, knocking over bears on touchdowns. I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better atmosphere to play in. The fans showed up, it was loud, and so it was an amazing time.
Yeah, just talk about the moment with the fans when the clock hit zeros, and you know we saw the emotion, we saw them rush the field. You talked about the atmosphere during the game. Talk about it, kind of in that moment afterwards. Yeah,
I mean, taking that knee, going for a run around, and seeing everyone rushing the field, it was pretty incredible to see. The fans were loud all day, and then I think the end just kind of topped it off. Getting flooded like that, having the whole team there to celebrate with all our family, friends, and everyone that was there to support us. It was pretty special for sure.
Now, you guys talked at the start of the season when we talked to Coach Falls, it was, well, all 12 starters on offense are back, and we think that this group could really do some damage. For you guys to put up 50 points in a conference championship game, like, to you, who has put in all the work every single day over the last handful of years with these guys, you guys could see yourselves having these moments, but to actually live that out with a 50-point performance on the biggest stage in the conference, what's that like?
Yeah, I mean, being able to do it with that group of guys that we just talked about. We talked about the guys that were turning on offense, but our defense played a heck of a game too. And you can see it happening. We were visualizing it the night before, just sitting there with some guys. We could see that thing happen, and we could see the celebration afterwards. And so just being able to experience that with the group of guys that I've been with for a couple of years now, we've worked so hard to get to this moment. It was pretty cool.
At the start of the game, I mean, you guys defer. You guys are going to get the ball out of the half in the second half, and I've been tracking you guys going 2-minute drill and then right out of the half. It seems like you guys have blown open so many games in that window each year. This year, you get that chance, but right off the hop, Western scores. And when you're seeing Yazbek run for that initial touchdown, in your mind, you guys are like, okay, we've got this. When you let that ball go to Tayshaun on the first touchdown, what was going through your mind? Like, you saw he had the guy beat, there was no safety help. You're like, oh, money, let's do this. What was going through your mind?
What was going through my mind is we got to go score again. That was the first thing that I came back to the sideline saying. We knew how good of a team they were, how good of an offense they are. We learned our lesson last year from that, and so we were all business that game. Like, as soon as I let that ball go, we scored, saw Tayshaun run in, and we came back to the sideline. We reset. We got to go score again. And then we were right. They came back. They scored a couple after we went on our run. And we knew that they were gonna go on a run because of the guys that they have over there. So it was just all about punch, counter punch, punch, counter punch.
And you just talked about yourselves in Western going on that run there, but coming out in the second half of this ball game, that's when you guys kind of took the doors off of this one. What was the feeling coming out of the locker room going into the second half here?
Yeah, I think it was all about learning from last year. We were up at halftime last year. We played 2 quarters of football against them last year in the Yates Cup, and I think our message was just that we knew it was going to take 4 quarters We knew the confidence that we had in our locker room, and they have confidence in their locker room. And so we knew that we still had a lot of work to do coming out of half. And so being able to come out of half, score, stop, score again, really keep the momentum on our side was definitely really big for us.
Okay, we got to pause and talk about the two scores out of the half, because while he did not finish the game, he has been a heartbeat for you guys offensively. And that's Darian Bassett-Caden. I mean, you throw him one touchdown, and then you guys get down to the goal line, and what's the play called? Like, nobody's gonna have your terminology. Like, is there like a funky term for it, or is it just like, hey, Darian, toss the ball up?
I think I can let this one go because unfortunately, what happened to D, we had a play call. It was called Chatham because D's from Chatham. We knew that he could spin it back there, and so letting him get the chance to throw. We've been practicing that one for a while, and so finally bringing it out in the Yates Cup, throwing it to our big tight end fullback. It was a pretty cool moment watching those two get to have their moment in front of everyone.
All right, I gotta follow up for this one because I don't think we're done on this topic quite yet. How does this come about? Like, did he just come to yourself and Coach Falls in practice one day and was like, "Hey, I can kind of throw the rock. Like, give me a chance here." Like, how does this play develop?
Well, we've always known D had an arm. He's played quarterback before, and so seeing him spinning at practice, I think it got the wheels turning a bit. Even last year, we had some stuff dialed up for him, and just wasn't the right situations to call it. But we saw the opportunity to call this one. Galloway called a great call, big moment of the game. Kind of broke their back too, broke their will. So pretty special to practice that one for so long, and then watch it happen on the Yates Cup.
Okay, I got to talk about your ground game, your O-line, Tanner. Almost 300 yards rushing for you guys in a game where it seemed like you and the receiving core was having your pickings. You guys really dominated on the ground. What went on with that group this week in practice? Like, did anything change for them? Like, did you see an extra edge as you guys were kind of gearing up through inside run and team periods?
First of all, I want to give that group their flowers. If I didn't take such deep of a knee on that final play, they would have had 300. So they deserve that 300, every bit of it. And I just want to say how much that group up front has performed week in and week out for us all year. I mean, and in no bigger moment in the Yates Cup in the second half when we need it, and they know we're running the ball. We know we're running the ball. We're just gashing them on counter, gashing them on power. I mean, Tanner had a heck of a day, 170 by himself. The guys up front were just doing their thing. They were dominating at the line of scrimmage, and I think you really saw our trenches take over in the second half.
And as the game starts to wear down and wear on, how important is it to have a guy like Tanner Nelms in the backfield who can just kind of grind down that clock and really grind down the will of the opposing defense late in those situations?
I mean, invaluable. He was impossible to tackle. We were throwing him screen passes. He was making 3 or 4 guys miss. He's breaking off long runs for us. He's getting first downs at the end of the game when they know we're running the ball in inside zone, and he's just turning those legs over for 11, 12 a carry. Those are the plays that really break teams' wills. I mean, it's fun to throw the ball over the top, spread it out. That kind of game is fun and exciting, but we know championship football is one in the trenches. Our O-line, our running back play, it was unbelievable, and they're the reason we're Yates Cup champions.
Now, do you add into that break your will when you run up and start lead blocking someone? Like, do you see that as like an extra soul crusher when the quarterback's leading the way on some of these counter plays? Like, there was a couple times that I think you pushed Tayshawn on one pile, you were lead blocking Tanner, you got out in front of Laomi's on one point. Like, what's going through your mind when you're blocking like that?
I mean, coaches probably don't love it as much. A lot of it is honestly just instinct. I try and tone it in, I try and reel it in, but when we're playing football in the fourth quarter games, I just want to get in there and help the guys, help push piles, make sure we're jumping on footballs if things get loose. I know I got to protect myself, and so I know Coach Gallo and Coach Falls are in my ear all the time about being smart, but fourth quarters of games, times when it matters, I just kind of feel myself the urge to get in there and help the guys out.
Now, no Raven Thorne this last game for you guys, but Ryan Hughes has kind of just been sitting there waiting for his turn, it seemed like all year. And he's got a similar play style to Raiden, but you guys really let him shine this week amongst the other receivers who all had their moments. Like Laomi, I think, had the nastiest stiff arm of the day. Ethan had his timely catches, but Talk a bit about Ryan and kind of the progress he has made throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, obviously missing Ray is unfortunate. He's one of the guys that I've leaned on for a couple of years here. But we knew the whole week that Ryan was more than capable. He's an absolute stud. He's going to be a stud in this league for the next couple of years. I mean, you guys just saw flashes of it. He came in the semis against Queens, scored a double move touchdown right away. Played great for us this game, scored another one. I mean, you guys see it. You see how explosive he is. You see how his hands. You see how he moves with the ball in his hands. I mean, I can't say enough good things about him being able to step in like that for our team when we need it. When one of our guys goes down and he just comes in and the offense clicks like normal. So, ton of credits our way.
All right, we've been talking a heck of a lot. We've been talking a heck of a lot about your offense here, but you do have a defense over there at Laurier and a pretty damn good one at that. Talk about how they played in this one because they had 4 sacks, 6 TFLs, so they added two tackles for loss there, and 4 PBUs all over the field, making things uncomfortable for Hillock and those guys on the Western offense. From where I was sitting watching this game, that your defensive unit looked really aggressive in this one, and they got after it.
Yeah, our defensive unit is killers. Our trenches, like I said, they won this game for us. Mateo Laquitana, a couple big timely sacks. Marcus Tenney being a beast in the middle. And I mean, they couldn't run the ball on us like they wanted to. We know that's their game plan. They broke off a couple big ones, but that's going to happen when you play teams of that caliber. Overall, the entire day they were stout. They stopped the run. They defended the pass. A couple big third down stops for us in the second half, getting us the ball in plus territory, being able to add on points. I mean, you cannot win this league without having an elite defense, and we have one of the best defenses in the country.
Now, we're talking defense, we're talking offense. There's a special teams player who led you guys in total tackles, and that's Laomi. Opening kickoff, I think he flew down there faster than any of the other guys on your kickoff team, faster than any of the KOR guys could set up for Western. Talk about that tone setting coming from one of the captains on your team and kind of how that jump-started you guys, not as an offense, but just as a whole sideline.
Yeah. Lay's one of our captains. He's our special teams captain for a reason. I mean, he's one of the best special teams players in the entire country. He's a freak athlete. You see what he does on offense when he gets the ball in his hands, and he takes a ton of pride in leading our team on special teams. He plays physical. He plays fast. He makes a ton of tackles, like you said. 5 solos on special teams in one game. He's going to get drafted right off of that game. So, I mean, can't say enough about the way that he led our special teams group in the Yates Cup.
Quick one here, just to kind of, we've been getting into the nitty gritty of this game here, but a quick one just to kind of broaden the spectrum here. This game, I tweeted out that this game had over, I think it was up around 1,100 yards, 81 points scored. Both quarterbacks over 300 yards in this game, 2 running backs over 100 yards. Just from a pure football standpoint, we got a hell of a game, but what was it like to play in a game like that where the ball was flying, the points were getting scored, both running backs were playing really, really well? Exciting game for us. What was it like to be in that one?
Yeah, I mean, these are the type of games that you dream about playing in. Rematch of last year's Yates Cup at our home field against a team that we knew was going to give us a challenge, a team that we knew was elite. We're 2 of the top teams in the entire country. I'd say 2 in the top 4 teams in the entire country. So being able to play against competition like that in the Yates Cup is the hardest trophy to win out of all the conferences. We got the most teams, and so being able to battle with them in an atmosphere like that, with both offenses doing their thing, and we're battling out both defenses doing their thing. I mean, physical football game, exciting football game. I mean, it was awesome to be a part of it.
All right, now we are recapping this week, but we'd be remiss if we did not ask you about the second purple on purple matchup that you guys are going to have coming up this week with Bishops. Early in the week, long bus ride ahead. What are you most excited for about going to Lennoxville and playing in this national semifinal?
Yeah, I think it's just a chance to go 1-0 again. I mean, this one's just pretty cool because it gets you 1-0. 1-0 gets you to the spot where you've been working for the whole time. The Yates Cup is cool. We've been talking about it as a group that it's pretty special to win that one, but we know the one we came for was the Vanier Cup, and we're close to getting there. So we're just excited to get down to Lennoxville and make sure we punch our ticket to the one we wanted to get to the whole time.
Perfect. Well, Taylor, we hope to see you in Kingston in a couple weeks. There is a bias here from Connor and I because you guys are the OUA and the reigning champions of that conference. So we certainly hope we'll see you in a couple weeks, and we'll catch up to you when we are there. if you guys are joining us. So best of luck this week in Lennoxville. Congratulations once again, and thank you so much for joining us here today.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on, guys. Go Hawks.